My First Million, Level Up Your Life in 2026 with Shaan Puri. Creator, My First Million, Shaan Puri interviewed by Walter. Duration, 65 minutes. One-line hook, Shaan Puri, who sold his company to Amazon and Twitch, sits down with his former intern and delivers a masterclass on project selection, the power of proximity, why hard work is overrated, and the one test that tells you whether you are doing the wrong thing. Section 1, Strategically Broke and the Year That Changed Everything. Shaan opens with the story that set the trajectory of his entire career. He graduated college and landed a job paying $120,000 a year in a boring industry he knew nothing about. Within a month and a half, he realized he had made a lame choice. But Shaan has this quality he is very aware of. He says he does not make great decisions, but he makes great reversals of decisions. Once he knows something is wrong, he cannot tolerate it for even a moment longer. He quit. He went back to his friends who had won a business plan competition for a sushi restaurant chain called Sabai Sushi, the Chipotle of sushi. They had $25,000 of prize money split 3 ways, which meant about $8,000 each to live on for a year. Shaan had no idea what life actually cost. In college, you just swipe a card and meals appear. He looked at his friends who had taken investment banking jobs and saw they were money rich but time poor, so he decided to flip it. He would be strategically broke, which he admits is just a luxury brand for unemployed. The framework was beautiful in its simplicity. He would be time rich, adventure rich, and learning rich. He calculated the minimum amount he needed to earn for maximum freedom. He coached basketball at a school for autistic children and tutored college students in statistics for $25 to $30 an hour. Meanwhile, he was learning everything at a ferocious pace: restaurant operations, margins, profit and loss statements, pitching investors, negotiating leases, video editing, design, blogging, sales, brand building. He found the lease documents of competitors through public liquor license records and used that as leverage in his own negotiations. The landlord was shocked. He quotes Dharmesh Shah, billionaire founder of HubSpot, who said something similar about his own first business. Dharmesh did everything through ignorance and it worked. His second business, where he thought he knew the proper way, went worse. Just because you are ignorant does not mean you are wrong. And the skills from that first chaotic period, After Effects, iMovie, Photoshop, pitching, negotiating, stuck with Shaan for decades. Section 2, Fear is just stress with a better PR team. Walter asks Shaan about reversing decisions, confessing he knows he should leave Europe for San Francisco but finds it hard. Shaan goes straight to the root. It is not that decisions are hard to reverse, it is that people are afraid. Adults have all these code words for fear, he says. You are allowed to say you are stressed out, but if you say you are afraid, people think something is wrong with you. Stress is just the code word for fear. He walks through it. What are you stressed about? Things going wrong. Then what? People will not like me. Then what? You are ultimately afraid of rejection, embarrassment, humiliation, failure. It is always one of those things underneath. This is why people do not reverse bad decisions either. They would rather live in known pain than face an unknown, even if the unknown might be better. Shaan says he is not tougher than other people. He actually has less tolerance for pain, which is why he acts quickly. The discomfort of staying drives him out faster. His dad delivered one of the episode's most memorable moments. When Shaan told his parents about quitting for the sushi restaurant, his dad said something unexpected. I think you should do it. Shaan asked, you think it is a good idea? His dad said, I think it is a terrible idea, but look at you. You are so switched on. I have never seen you like this. You have this drive, this energy. You are developing skills. Then his dad gave him a metaphor. You are standing on a beach in the fog. You want to get to paradise, but you cannot see where it is. You have 2 choices. Stand there and wait for the fog to clear, or take your crappy boat and start paddling. Once you are in motion, it is much easier to change direction. You have momentum. Sometimes life is about motion, not direction. His dad was right. The sushi restaurant failed, but the motion led to everything that came after. Section 3, Most People Are Not Serious and the Rule of 100. Shaan tells 2 stories that crystallize his philosophy about competition. The first is from a Tony Robbins event with 10,000 people playing Simon Says. Within 10 minutes, it was down to the final 5. Tony asked the audience how many actually believed they were going to win. Maybe 50 people raised their hands out of 10,000. The 5 finalists were not competing with 10,000 people. They were competing with 50. Their odds were 1 in 10, not 1 in 10,000. The second story is about Mr. Beast. Jimmy Donaldson meets aspiring YouTubers constantly, people making a pilgrimage to his studio begging for advice. His advice is always the same. Make 100 videos, pick one thing to improve each time. When you are done with 100, come back and I will tell you exactly what to do next. The kicker is nobody ever comes back. Nobody is willing to make 100 videos. They all want to be Mr. Beast. They do not want to be Jimmy, who started at 12 and had nobody watching at 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 7 years through hell. And for the tiny percentage who actually do the 100 by the time they finish, they do not need him. They are flying. This rule of 100 applies to basically any pursuit, and the funny thing is nobody is serious, so nobody does it. If you just decide you are serious, you are already competing with the 50 people out of 10,000 who actually believed they could win. Section 4, Proximity is Power and the Network You Choose. Shaan traces how he ended up in San Francisco through the principle proximity is power, which he got from Tony Robbins. The science is simple. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If everyone around you works out, you will work out. It is osmosis. And pull is always easier than push. Being pulled into something by your environment takes no willpower. Pushing yourself alone does. When Shaan wanted to do startups in Australia, he kept asking people who the most impressive founder they knew was. Every time, the answer was someone who had moved to San Francisco. After the third time, he thought, what the hell am I doing here? He changed his phone number to a San Francisco area code before he even had a plan. He told everyone he was moving. Then he actually did it, one-way ticket, signed a lease, and figured the rest out. He ties this to James Courier, the Silicon Valley OG who runs a $1.2 billion fund called NFX. Courier is obsessed with networks. Choosing a college is choosing a network. Moving to a city is choosing a network. Your info diet is a network. If you consume the same content as everyone else, you will have the same thoughts as everyone else. Shaan brings up an e-commerce founder who transferred paid advertising skills into the B2B software world and hit a $300 to $400 million valuation in 2 years because nobody in that world knew how to do paid ads at his level. The skill was the same. The network amplified everything. Section 5, Hard Work is Overrated and the Inertia Test. Shaan makes his most contrarian argument. Hard work is probably the 4th or 5th most important variable for success. He is quick to clarify that overrated does not mean useless. It means when successful people are asked what the key is and they say hard work, they are either simplifying or giving themselves air cover. Nobody can disagree with hard work as an answer. It sounds good and egalitarian, like everyone had an equal shot. His hierarchy is clear. First is project selection, what you work on. He knows this because he worked in the restaurant industry. It does not matter how hard you work in restaurants, your outcomes are structurally limited. Second is who you work with. 3rd through 5th are timing, luck, and hard work in some order. He credits Warren Buffett's framework for picking partners, energy, intelligence, and integrity, but adds a crucial 4th dimension that he calls being down. Someone who is down will take a half-baked idea and say, yeah, let us give it a shot. Someone who is down for adventure will choose the more interesting story path over the safe one. Someone who is down will buckle down and grind through difficulty. His partner, Ben, is the epitome of this. Ben had a business doing $1 million a year in profit, and when Shaan said, hey, do you want to do this random unknown thing with me? Ben just said, I'm down. They have done 7 different things together. Every single one has been fun. Everyone has worked. The most powerful story in this section comes from Shaan's friend Suli. They were at a Chinese casino buffet at 1 a.m. when Suli said, I don't get what you're doing. Shaan was confused because on the surface everything looked great, the nicest office in San Francisco, a private chef, a masseuse on Fridays, a bar, a billionaire funder, total freedom, a blank check. Suli pressed him with a thought experiment from physics. Inertia is a force. An object in motion stays in motion. If the lab closed tomorrow, would you call these same people and start this same project? Shaan's immediate answer was no way. He would call the same people, but they would definitely not work on this. The next day, Shaan told his co-founder they should sell the company. 45 days later, they had a signed definitive agreement. Inertia is a terrible reason to be doing anything. The thing that is just okay, the mediocre path, is the real risk for any person with high potential. Failure is quick and painful, but it is over. Mediocrity saps your will, your time, your energy, your belief in yourself. It takes your most precious asset, your time, and wastes it. Section 6, the flywheel and letting interestingness be your guide. Shaan's final framework ties everything together. He no longer does anything for a future payoff. The work has to be the win. If you enjoy it, you do it all the time. Because you do it all the time, you get really good at it. Because you get really good at it, you get results. That is the flywheel. Without genuine enjoyment, you only work to the extent of your willpower and energy. You only get so good and you get so results. There is no flywheel. He points to his wife as an example. She was OCD and loved arts and crafts since childhood. She started bedazzling phone cases in high school. She got obsessive about it, bought Swarovski crystals, studied designs, iterated constantly. By her freshman year of college, celebrities were hiring her for custom work at Hollywood parties. She was making thousands a month. That was her pushed out, something that looked like a waste of time to others but was pure play for her. He shares his own version. He stays up until midnight reading the annual revenue report of Nevada casinos to check whether Las Vegas Strip numbers are a leading recession indicator. Nobody assigned him that homework. He has always gone on these business rabbit holes, but when he started the podcast, suddenly that giant library of factoids and stories and nuggets became incredibly valuable. The episode closes with Paul Graham's advice from how to do great work. Let interestingness be the filter. What is interesting to you is not interesting universally, so it naturally filters out competition. And because it is interesting to you, you will do it all the time, activating that flywheel. If the first thing does not work, it does not matter. You will have had so much fun doing it that you just keep going and it eventually lands in a good spot. Key takeaways. First, project selection is the single most important variable for success. It matters more than how hard you work, more than talent, more than timing. Choosing what to work on is a skill that can be developed. Second, the inertia test is the sharpest diagnostic tool for your career. If your project shut down tomorrow, would you restart this exact same thing? If the answer is no, you are doing it because you are already doing it. That is a terrible reason. Third, most people are not serious. The rule of 100 applies to any pursuit and almost nobody completes it. If you are genuinely serious, you are already competing with 50 people out of 10,000. Fourth, proximity is power and network selection compounds over time. The earlier you choose the right network, the more time it has to compound. Moving away from Silicon Valley to save on taxes costs you 10x in missed opportunities. Fifth, the work has to be the win. Doing things for future payoffs without enjoying the process creates a so-so flywheel at best. Let interestingness be your filter, and the results will follow the enjoyment.